This session is part of the Indie Author Fringe Conference, a 3 times a year author conference fringed to the major publishing fairs London Book Fair, Book Expo America and Frankfurt Book Fair. The Indie Author Fringe is run under the stewardship of the Alliance of Independent Authors, is organised by writers for writers and is free to attend. Let's see who's sharing self-publishing insights in this session.
Everything happens at Frankfurt just in time. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for the invitation, Porter. Hello, everyone. My name is Kinga, and I'm from PublishDrive. And I've heard so many things from Porter, which was amazing. So thank you for the introduction. So in the next few 30 minutes, I will tell you more tricks about how authorpreneurs actually can leverage technology just to make sure that you actually become more successful in your publishing. First of all, a very short introduction what we are actually doing, that basically we help authors get their message out to the widest network of readers. So if you upload your ebook to our platform, so we work with ebooks right now, then you can sell it to more than 400 stores and 240,000 digital libraries worldwide. What we can see, in this case, you actually can sell 3 times more than publishing only on Amazon Kindle. And what we actually built into the platform, that we provide back you all the data, so you have a uniquely transparent experience with all the platform. So you can see cutting-edge data analytics supported with business intelligence, real-time, which is really important if you are running a marketing campaign, for instance, so you can see how your books are actually performing on the market. And then the best part is that it's free to join, so we don't take any kind of subscription or listing fee or whatever. It's a revenue share, so we actually have a share in your success as well, because we believe that you will be successful with the help what we actually can give you. And we are actually partners of Apple. We are one of the 10 companies globally who are trusted partners, and we work with Google as well on a strategic level. We have a very cool team. Sophie is actually here from the marketing and content side. So if you have any questions about marketing or content, you actually can reach out to her. And let's talk about the real things. How actually writers or authorpreneurs can leverage technology and how you can build out your publishing process much more concisely. So first of all, just a very small introduction to entrepreneurship as well, because as how we started with PublishDrive, that I wanted to publish my master thesis. So I was basically a writer, and I wanted to get my message out to the widest network of readers. So I started to think how I can do it in the most interesting way and in the most unique way. And I had my topic or my master thesis in how music can influence an image of a country. So that is already a niche topic. But I wanted to actually tell it to something differently. And yeah, that's what actually you have to do first, to build your brand somehow. And what I did, I Googled the title as well, which is really important. And many authors, they actually skip that process. And when you already finished your book, you had the title, and you published it, you realize, okay, someone else has the same title. And then if you put any dollars in marketing, then you are just wasting your money in the end, which is not good. So you want to be smart from the very beginning. So Google your title and your name, your pen name as well, if you are choosing anything, because that's really important to build your brand further. Publishing is a long time process, as Orna mentioned as well. It's not just a one-time activity. You have to really think on the long term. And then branding is really important. Then what is really a unique definition in entrepreneurship, that MVP, minimum viable product, should be the first thing what you actually release on the market. And it's true for publishing. So how I actually see publishing and MVP in publishing is basically ebooks are the first things what you release if you are a starting writer. So if you have your ebook, then you actually can have the fastest reactions to your books, fastest feedback as well, reviews, and of course you can rewrite your story if you think that it's not working that well, or if you just have a good idea how to improve it later on. And you can get more ideas how you actually can write new stories later on. So that's why it's really good if you actually just started with ebooks, and then you will see how the market reacts. And of course, it's not easy to release an ebook either, because you have to be confident, you have to show it to a friend first just to make sure that you are okay, because I met so many writers who are a bit, they are not confident with their books yet. But if you find some support from your family or your friends, you actually can go wide, and you can enjoy much more peer reviews as well in the end. And what is really important, to focus on quality. So in case of ebooks, you have to find the right category for your books. Many authors are actually trying to cheat a bit with the category, because they think that if they find a not relevant but very niche category, then they actually get higher best-selling or sales ranks in the end. And they can say, oh, I'm an Amazon bestseller, which is obviously a lie on the long term. So again, think on the long term, not on the short term, because in this way, you are basically lying to your readers. You don't want to do that. You want to build a relationship with your readers, so please be honest and find the most relevant category, because that's how you can build your audience as well, if they think that you are the right fit. And of course, the price. What we can see that, especially internationally, you can actually price your books differently as well. So we already released the function to make sure that you can price your books differently. And what we actually can see working, that if you are a fiction writer and you have different kind of series, for instance, releasing, then the first book can be released for free, and the next parts of the series, they will be actually selling much better. So that is a good strategy to step foot in. And of course, think global. As far as I mentioned to you, we actually can see that if you are having a wider coverage with your books in more countries, in more stores, in more business models, in more libraries, then you actually can sell more. At least 3 times more than publishing only on Amazon Kindle. And what we could see, that basically 40% of the sales are coming outside of the local country of the writer, which is amazing, right? So you can see that even if you publish in English or in German, or we come from Hungary, so we started there, but right now we are actually a US-based company. So if you actually publishing in any language, at least 40% of the sales will come outside of your local country. That's a huge number, so you don't want to lose that market. And what we could see, that if you are actually thinking in an analytical way about your book, that you actually see the results, what we are depicting to you with all the data, then you actually can make much smarter decisions for the future, how to improve your book, how to change your price. And that's why we are working on it, to make and give you better suggestions as well for the future, how to improve your whole strategy about your book. And now, it's not a hidden project, so we already work with AI and different kind of new technologies to make sure that you can actually be the smartest publisher with us, and you actually can get to the readers in the smartest way. And we actually collected some cool things for you with the new innovations and with the new disruptive methods as well. So Sophie actually released 3 new titles on our blog, 3 new articles. So if you have a chance to go to PublishDrive.com, then you can see our blog there as well, and you can reach and you can read more information about AI, blockchain, and the future of distribution, which is, I think, quite important for the future. So how can it be more useful for you? First of all, what is AI? Do you know what AI is? Yes? Do you want to just shortly summarize it?
Well, actually, you train by some data the computer software or program, to be speaking roughly, and then it learns from your data, and then it can give you better, more insights as to your questions. It's a very wide area. It even had a film, a movie, Artificial Intelligence. So I think basically that's what it is, but I don't know how you use it in publishing avenue. Thank you.
Yeah, so basically artificial intelligence in different areas. What you mentioned as well, it can learn, like a machine learning part, and it actually can be mimicking the whole human brain as well. So that is deep learning. So there are different areas, but you are right totally. So the computer tries to actually train the data and gives the output based on different kind of systems and algorithms, and everything is automated, of course. And how we can use it, how it can help publishing. So what we can think that we are already using some tools which actually are AI-based, and they are helping publishers or even other areas as well. So, for instance, if you think about where AI was used first, like in military or in healthcare, in advertising, so all these areas are already AI supported. And in terms of publishing, if you just think about how you could engage with your audience much better, it's basically you can use chatbots if you have enough readers, for instance. Then you cannot talk with them every day, in every minute, of course, but you want to engage with them because it's really important to build a relationship, as I mentioned to you. So you can use some cool chatbots which help you to build this relationship further. And then with discoverability as well. It's really important that the current advertising methods, many of them are already using AI methods to show you the most relevant articles and advertisements as well. So that is one thing what we are working on too, just to make sure that everything is more relevant and it is not actually a whole crowd of books, but it is showed in the right way to the right audience. What can you do right now? What kind of tools are available for you just to play with? So first of all, with Google, you actually can try out some very cool tools and play with your current existing marketing materials. So what we can see that the cover of the books and the description of the books, these are the things which are actually selling the book in the store. And if you can improve it some way, then you are basically the winner on the market, right? So first of all, we had an issue that a big publisher actually had a cover which showed a nude woman, but on a painting. And you know, there are different kind of, so everything is differently, the cultural difference is about how people accept nudity is different. So in Europe, it's widely accepted to have a painting, a nude painting on a cover, but in the States, it was actually not accepted by iBooks. So we had to think about it, okay, how we can filter this and how we actually can improve the covers in a way that it will not happen anymore. And then you can actually play with Google APIs, which are freely available, and you actually can just put your cover there, and it will show you whether it's adult content, for instance. It will show you different kind of keywords, how it's basically shown in terms of Google and with the Vision API based on artificial intelligence. So it's a very cool thing. So if you have a chance, just try it out. And it's the same with the description. So natural language programming is already a thing and it's already available. So if you have a description, it will show you different kind of things, how you actually are already accepted by the different readers, how they see your description. And you can change it and you can see how it's scored later on, how much improvement you actually could achieve. And besides, on the artificial intelligence side, we can see that it's important to have your cover in the best shape already. So you actually don't do any 3D covers. So we have many authors who actually try to do that. With ebooks, it's already the thing that you try to show false data to your readers because it's not a physical book, it's an ebook. Then what we can see that you actually have a lot of tools available how to create your cover, like Canva, for instance, so you can DIY it quite easily. So no problem with that. You actually can create a quality cover without any very big Photoshop knowledge. And the description, please do it as exhaustive as it can, so at least 50 characters long. You shouldn't include any kind of direct link to different stores because it makes it very hard to distribute it in other stores. You can imagine that iBooks didn't want to link directly to Amazon Kindle. And then please try to make sure that the most important keywords are there. And if you have any award or any reviews which are cool, please include them there because it can actually help to sell them more. And what we actually are experimenting with right now to understand the market better based on AI and based on data what we collect and what we can see from our current 35,000 books in our catalog from different publishers and from different markets. And it's really important that you understand where you stand with your book, who actually publish similar books, who is your competition, how they price their books, how you can be different with either with your cover, with your description, or with your pricing. So it's pretty cool to see how it goes and how you actually can perform among your peers. But of course, AI cannot really solve everything. So what we can see, many like futuristic people, they actually try to explain that creative writing will be just supplemented by any kind of AI machines or algorithms or computers. But personally, I don't believe in that it will be totally changed and disrupted. What I believe that it will help you to enhance your creativity and focus on how you can be more different and how you actually can show your passion much better and how you can actually be a branding professional, basically, a better storyteller. And in the end, how you actually can show your emotional intelligence to your readers as well and to build the relationships. So that is the part what AI cannot solve for you. All of the other things which are related to data, they are pretty much can be solved and pretty much things which can be reactive to the market. So please take a look at our website on the blog section especially if you are interested in the technologies part, because we release some very cool articles about it, and then read them, and probably if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me or Sophia, who is here as well, and then hopefully you will be publishing very successfully later on. So thank you.
Thank you, Kinga. One of the things that I like that she was just saying to us is about the descriptions and how you're actually putting your material out. This is part of your metadata. It lives with your book. And what I always try to tell authors is take every advantage. Make sure that, for example, on your Amazon author page, get your picture in there. Write a good description. Make it serious, make it worthwhile. Link to your website. Always link to your website. This is really your storefront on the web. It's where you live in the world. You must have a site. They must be able to find it. Always link to it. When you go into Twitter and you set up your Twitter account, try to use your name, not the title of your book, because you're going to write another book. You only want to be one person, the author. So get a handle that is as close as possible to your name, and then put that you're an author in the Twitter description. Make sure that people looking for an author named John will find the author named John and not 85 other Johns, right? It's a very interesting thing, but once you flip your mind into the idea of can they find me, you'll start doing all the right things. You have to put yourself into the shoes of the person searching for a good book, right? What are some of your tips on this kind of thing, especially in social media, Kinga?
Yeah, on social media. What is really interesting, actually, I talked to a company in Boston who are analyzing what could be the best-selling book for the next, or how a book can be actually be best-selling for the next 2 years or something like that. And then they actually told me, which is not a very, it's not a brain science or anything like that, but he told me that if you are actually more active on social media, then it basically pretty much shows whether you can actually sell more books or not. So if you want to sell books, then please be active on social media, because you have to interact with your readers. That's what I actually told you, that you can use chatbots, because obviously you cannot be available for 24 hours a day. Otherwise, you don't sleep, you don't write, right. You don't live your life. So obviously, right. you have to have some kind of help. But there are options available, and you still can build relationships. You still can be available on different social media channels. You can use tools which makes it more effective for you, so you don't have to spend so much time on it. But still, you have the same result. So yeah.
The best kind of thing that Kinga is talking about in terms of tools are dashboards like Hootsuite or TweetDeck. These let you schedule your social media and into different platforms too.
Yeah.
So you can schedule your tweets on Twitter, your Facebook moves, your LinkedIn messages, your Google Plus messages, all day and all night. You can schedule months in advance. I've done it. It's amazing, but it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Because then you can focus on that for a little while and then get back to some other parts of your work.
Yeah.
But the most important thing I think in social to remember too for authors is look for readers out there, not just other authors. Social media have become wonderful for authors because you can communicate with each other, support each other, live in the community of writers, which is great. In the old days, there was no such chance. Everybody was in their own room by themselves. The only problem is it's very addictive, and you end up just talking to other authors and other writers. So always remember to face outward. You're facing your readers, looking for readers. That's who you really want following you on social media. Yeah?
Yeah, there is another tool what we actually were experimenting with Buffer. It's the same basically, that it helps you schedule different kind of posts on social media, even on Instagram as well. So it's pretty cool, I think. So that's one thing what we are using as well. And of course, if you have a website, you always have to look at your Google Analytics. That is one thing what always has to be actually taken care of, because there are a lot. And what I could see, there is an intelligence button there on the right side as well. So it actually shows you some information, so not just data, but what actually can see from your data and how you could improve it. So it's something new, and you can actually try this one as well, because obviously when it's about how readers will find you, it's basically organic search really important. And if you don't have a good SEO or you don't have a good title or whatever, then you are basically, you don't exist in terms of online words. So it's really important.
The nice thing is nothing is forever in social, and you can make adjustments, you can try and fail. Just remember that the more complete information you give, the better. You're trying to make yourself visible, visible, visible. Do it comfortably. Don't give out private information that you shouldn't. But remember, if they can't find you, they won't reach you. They need to feel like they can find you and communicate with you. Readers today love the communication with their writers. Before we switch into our group conversation, I just wanted to ask Kinga one more thing. She recently has had a wonderful blog post that I liked very much about Southeast Asia and how to price into different markets. What do you do when you're trying to price for Malaysia versus what do you do when you're trying to price for Singapore? There's a very simple answer between those two. Singapore is a comparatively wealthy nation. They generally are buying books that are around $6, $7, $8, whereas in Malaysia, the prices are much lower. So you need to know all of those countries in one part of the world are not at all the same. India is a very big market and a terrific market, but its prices for books are historically very low. So when you go in, if you ask for $5 for a book, it's too much. They're accustomed to about $2, $2.50 max. This is difficult because it means you have to think where your returns are going to come from, but you need to know that kind of thing in order to accurately price yourself into all of the world markets you want to be available in. This is still on your blog post, I think, right? Your,
yes,
yeah,
it's on the blog post as well.
And will you do some other regions for us or other parts of the world?
Yes, so
Good.
we are actually in partnership with many countries and many stores.
Right.
And even if we are actually adding new stores, what we are actually doing in China, for instance, or in Mexico, we are always researching this topic, how we actually can price the books there, how the local market looks like. Of course, they cannot tell the secret either because it's not. There is no like secret sauce what we actually can do all the time,
right.
But we can see some business as usual methods, and we are trying to implement them, and we are trying to actually make it easier for you as well how to price the books in different markets, because that's really important and it actually fits into our whole mission and vision, how we think that publishing is truly global. So you really have to be aware of how the different markets are behaving and how the readers are actually behaving in the different markets.
Yeah, as with so many things in this business, you have so many advantages that you haven't had before, and yet every one of them tends to make you have a little more work to do, because you have to do your homework, understand how to best use these tools, and then activate them and follow them, evaluate them, see what's working, analyze them. As Kinga is saying, make sure you don't just throw it out there and wait for it. You're going to need to watch it, monitor it, and keep writing your next book. It's a busy life.
You've been listening to another great session brought to you by the Indie Author Fringe and the Alliance of Independent Authors, ALLI. You can find out more about both by visiting ALLI's Self-Publishing Advice Centre, www.selfpublishingadvice.org. Now, go write and publish.